SSD, yeah. We need that to store a lot of knowledge for the students. And also,
语文课是爱心巧克力，它也爱心巧克力，你看那个大搭档啊。
yeah. And after the lesson, maybe we can take a group photo together. Is that okay? Yeah.
因为俩人。双师课堂，开玩笑，开玩笑，我也没感受过。
Yes, of course. Yeah, you can use the marker.
Before I start, I want to know where is group 1?
Yeah.
Group 1, okay. Group 2, group 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me introduce myself. I'm the vice principal and the English panel chair in Fanning College, one of the local schools in Hong Kong, an aided school, a co-ed school. Parker is our deputy panel chair, and he will be sharing with us particularly our department's policy and how we implement self-regulated learning in our department. And so the students here, before I start, habits are very important. Learning habits are very important. So in my school, when one is talking, all the listeners have to look at the speaker. So we will say eyes on the speaker. Okay, that is one way to manage your class. And the second thing is when you do your discussion, you have to do it very loudly. Okay, because I will listen. And when I ask questions, I suppose that you will actively answer our questions. Usually, you don't have to put up your hand, just stand up and then say it. But you are adults, okay? But now you are a former student, okay? So you just shout your answer and then maybe I will put it on the whiteboard. Is that okay? Okay, very good. Seems that you guys are active. Okay. Okay, so let's go into the lesson. One more thing. Especially in junior forms, in order to engage the students better. So from time to time, I will get the students to read aloud. Okay, so let's start the lesson. So this is a writing lesson, writing an informal letter. In the beginning of this lesson, I want you to do the 1 minute talk. This is the start of the lesson so that you can know that you are a student in a CMI school using Chinese as the medium of instruction. Now you have to use 100% English. Now this is the starter for you. I want you to talk to your elbow partner, maybe T and E one pair, A and one pair, okay? Many people said that it's good to keep a pet. Do you agree? So you can think of these questions using this thinking routine, agree and disagree. How is it important to you, to your friends and families, and also to the world? Okay? And then after you finish the 1 minute talk, I will give you 15 seconds. The partner has to give some feedback. You can say, can you give me more example of blah, 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 blah? Or what made you say that? Can you say a little bit more? Just now I don't quite understand what you said about blah, 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 blah. Is that all right? Okay? Now I give you 15 seconds to think about that first. After 15 seconds, I will start this 1 minute talk. Don't start first. Thinking time, no talking first. Thinking time. Okay? Ready? Now you have to keep speaking 1 minute non-stop. Who is student T? Can you put up your hand? Student T? If you're student T, put up your hand. Student A, put up your hand. A. A. Okay, student T talk to student E, and then student A talk to student M. Okay, so student T and A start first. 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, go.
I think keeping a pet is good for kids because it can help you to improve.
Okay, now student E and student F, 15 seconds. Give them some feedback or questions, ask them and tell them whether you agree or disagree before you do your 1 minute talk. Okay, so 15 seconds. Give them some feedback first. Okay, now students, eyes on Mr. Wong. Look at me. Thank you. Look at me first. Now I want student E and student F. You start now your 1 minute talk. Okay, so you talk about what you think about that on your own. Okay, so 1 minute. You may start now. Student T and F go.
You also need to spend time working with them. So, keeping pets also means which is
Okay, student A, no, student T and A. You give them feedback. Okay, 15 seconds. Now you may start now.
I totally agree with what I mean. I think when you keep a pet, not only costs your time, you also cost your money. You have to buy the pet food and take care of the pet. Because when you get a dog,
Okay, so students, eyes on Mr. Wong. Now, I want you to play paper, scissors, stone. The winner stand up. In your group, play paper, scissors, stone. The winner stand up. The whole group, play paper, scissors, stone. Winner stand up. Okay, please stand up. The winner, just one. Okay, so in a group of 4, just one stand up. Just one stand up, the winner in your group. Okay, this work. Okay, so remember eyes on the speaker. So you agree or disagree? Many people said that it's good. You disagree, why? Cost a lot of money. Okay. Okay, well, just one point, thank you. Just sit down. Okay, so do you agree with what she said? You don't think so, why? Okay, so it can relieve your stress. But what makes her say that it will cost a lot of money? Why do you think she said, wow, it gives you a lot of, it costs you a lot of money?
It depends. I think maybe the price of you can just keep the pet depending your
Oh, so it depends on your economic background, the financial background.
yeah, you can buy expensive or maybe cheaper.
Oh, maybe you are rich. So money is nothing, right? Okay, sit down first. So there are 2 points. Which one do you agree? You disagree, why? Oh, allergy. So, why? Can you say a little bit more?
Because my little brother is allergic to the fur of the animals, so in my home we cannot have the pet.
Oh,
Like the dog and cat.
okay. Thank you. You see that. So, what about you?
I'm agree with what
You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
Because of I think they give us comfort.
Oh, give you company, right?
But because we are loved and also supported.
Okay, give you support. Okay, see that. How can they give you support?
Because it can some way release our feeling of loneliness because we take the pet as a dominant number.
Okay, so sometimes we feel lonely. The pets can be your company, right? But you disagree or agree?
Agree.
Agree. So do you have something to add on?
Same as she said.
Okay, thank you. Okay, last but not least, what do you think?
I agree with it.
Okay, why?
Because, when people feel lonely and the pet can comfort them and give some emotional value.
Okay, maybe some emotional support.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it seems that now, okay, thank you. So it seems that only two disagree, and most of you agree. But today, when you write an informal letter, you have to agree, right? But, wait. When you are going to the senior form, you have to think of the counter argument. You have to think about what the other side said, and then you fight back, right? So it's good that you think about how people disagree and why they disagree. And then at the end, you can have some elaboration and explain why you have to agree. Do you understand what I mean? Now, this is only the starter. Let's go through the lesson objective together. Let's read aloud that together. We are going to learn to identify. 1, 2, 3, go. We are going to write down. Now, here, what are the keywords in the lesson objectives? Supporting details. So, supporting details. Here we have two types of supporting details, as you can see in the worksheet. Number one, statistics. Can you give me a simple word as a Form 1 student that you can understand what statistics are? Numbers, very good. Okay, what about personal experience? Story. Okay, so we are going to dig deep into what statistics are and what story can be when you write, this letter to support your argument, support your reason. Now, then, why supporting detail? Think about that. Okay, so, Mr. Wong, me, I'm very handsome. Then my students use that. Really? How do you prove that? Any support? How do you prove that I'm handsome? I have big eyes. What else? Tall. Tall means handsome. Oh, really? Okay, so I'm going to introduce you. In a study conducted by FKYC my school, 80% of the students think Mr. Wong is handsome. Okay, next. Let me tell you a story. Yesterday, I was on a bus. An old man thought that I was Sheffield, a handsome artist singer in Hong Kong. Do I have this? Oh yes, this. I look like him. So this is a story to tell me, support that Mr. Wong is handsome. Now here, you have to use this kind of two types of supporting details. What are they? Numbers and story. Now you remember, right? Okay, so the situation, because this is a task. If your friend David is considering getting a pet after listening to an interview with a celebrity vet, that is the listening exercise that you did yesterday. You have got some ideas and want to write a letter to him to explain why it is good to keep a pet. Just now in the 1 minute talk, you share this, right? Yeah. Okay. So Now, can you go to your learning guide, page 4? I want you to share question task 1, A, B, C. So, when you share, as a Form 1 student, maybe you need some support. I think the answer for question A is blah, 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 blah. Do you agree? Do you understand what I mean? Okay? Yes, I agree with you. No, I disagree. The answer should be blah, 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 blah. Get it? Okay, so I give you 2 minutes in your group, whole group share. Okay, so if you feel like you want to stand up, okay. If you can listen to each other, you can sit down. Okay, so everybody, you may start 2 minutes. You have to say the answer, okay? Don't just share the worksheets to your friends.
What is the sleep? So he or she may feel happier and 这个是对，然后这个是他的 story。对对，
Okay, time's up. So look at Mr. Wong. I know that you are excited about sharing, so please look at me first. Eyes on me. Hello. Thank you. Okay, so I want someone to stand up and tell me what is the claim here. Do you want to volunteer or do you want cold call? You like cold call? Cold call, that means I call your name. Oh, no, just now you answer. Okay, you stand up. Can you choose one person in your group to stand up and answer the question?
I would choose my best friend, Tina.
Okay, Tina. Okay, Tina, what is the claim here?
I think the question for A is pets like dogs and cats give people a chance to talk and share stories.
Okay, so I want, you can sit down, thank you. I want Tiffany, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, pets like dogs and cats give people a chance to talk and share stories. Now, how many types of supporting details are there? I want you to show your finger, everybody. Everybody, 1 or 2, show me your finger. No 5. We have taught 2 types, right? 2 types, we have 2 types. So where are they? Just now, Tiffany, you answer questions. Can you choose one person in this class to answer questions? Okay, Chelsea. Okay, what is the first one?
The first one is about the statistics.
Okay, so where is it?
It lies on the first, the second sentences.
The second sentence. Okay, so this one, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Can you choose another person?
This one.
Oh, okay. So what is the second one?
It's a story
Story. Where's the story?
about my friend Lily.
Okay, about your friend Lily.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So there are two types of supporting detail here. But then this one is easy. I want you to think a little bit more. Which one is more powerful to you? I want you to show me your fingers. Type 1 is statistics. Type 2 is story. Which one is more powerful to you when you write to your friend? Oh, interesting. Most of them choose 2 here, and most of you choose 1 here. Oh. Okay, let's hear from Vicky first. You choose story, right? So why do you think story is more powerful?
I think the story like Lily's creates emotional connection and really illustrates how pets alleviate loneliness. So while statistics provide general numbers and a personal experience can make the claim relatable
Oh, make the claim be relatable,
and memorable.
memorable. Okay, thank you. Okay, so here you choose. Most of you choose 2, right? Catherine, do you agree with Vicky? You choose 2, right? Yes. Okay, so it's more related to real life, so it's more persuasive, right? Okay, thank you. But this part here, you choose statistics, right? Can you argue? They said that it's more relatable, it's more related to their daily experience, right? But then you guys, you choose 1, statistics. Okay, you want to disagree with them? Yes, okay, why?
Because I think the personal experience is just an individual case because it's not in general.
Okay, it's not
It's
general.
just Lily's case, not my case.
Okay, so it's their own preference only, right? So it's not your case. What about here? What do you think? You guys, most of you choose 1, statistics, right? Yeah, why?
Because the statistic is more objective
More objective.
and it's from a study which means the sample is more general.
Okay, it's more general. Okay, so here, actually, now we finish this part, but I can say that now, for example, statistics here, right? Next one. Personal experience. There is no absolute answer. It really depends on the case. Now, you have to consider the reader. Imagine I am the reader, right? Numbers may be too general, but then in the eyes of another, maybe to Parker, numbers are very important. I like numbers. Numbers can be very persuasive. When you write to your friend, you can ask your friend. Imagine this is your friend. Do they like story or do they like figures? Okay. You understand, right? So yes, numbers can be very persuasive. When you go to university, we learn how to do statistics, right? Survey. Now it's more powerful. But then it depends on how you set the questions. If you say, okay, tall means handsome, and then 80% say that tall means handsome, you understand, right? It depends on how you set the statistics. So it really, you have to be very critical about the statistics. But I'm not saying that statistics are wrong. Numbers can be very important. Think about in university, do they like personal experience or story or statistics? Okay, so it really depends on the reader. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so now, here, this is the mid-lesson check. We went through the half of the lesson. There are 2 types of supporting details here. What is the claim here? What are the supporting details here? You cannot see this in your learning guide. Yeah. I just want to check your understanding and you have to monitor your progress. Okay? Now, I give you 2 minutes, you discuss with your friend, someone is sitting next to you, T and E 1 pair, A and M 1 pair. Okay, 2 minutes, you may start now.
say how to do have story. What are the processes? 不一样的点。对，它的 real story. What is the claim idea? Is easy people who have tend to go to the doctor and hospital. We should advertise might help people stay healthy.
Okay, so now what is the claim here? Whole class, can you read aloud the sentence? Less often, right? There are two types of supporting details. And where is the supporting details? What is the key word here to tell you that there is the supporting? Study. What else? Story. Okay, story. So study and story, right? So when you talk about study, what is the word? Number. So what is the better word? Statistics. What about when you see the story? Personal experience. Okay, so we went through the two types of supporting details. Now I want you to show your fingers. 1, Mr. Wong, 0, I don't get it. I don't know what you're teaching. 1, I need more help from the teacher. 2, I need more help with my classmates. 3, it's okay, but I just want to have some more practice so that I know whether I understand or not. 4, Mr. Wong, I totally understand. Everyone show me your finger. How much do you understand? Okay, so mainly 3 and 4, I think you quite understand, but some of you need more practice. So it's your time. Now, I want you group 1 to 3. 1 to 3. Is it 1 to 3? 1 to 3. Okay, so you are going to write about you are going to use the supporting details to support pets help people make friends. Okay? Groups 4 to 6. Pet owners are more likely to have good moods. So you have to create the statistics and create the personal experience. Do you get it? Now, how do you create it? You can see the language support here. When you talk about the personal experience, apart from telling me, let me tell you a story about Lisa. You can say, in my own experience, you can talk about your own. You don't have to talk about your friends, right? Or I remember a time when blah, 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 blah. So you use a personal story, but remember to use the past tense, which you learned 2 units ago. Okay? Let me share a personal story about blah, 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 blah. Okay? Now, if you talk about statistics, research shows that 80% of blah, 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 research or studies have found that, okay, 300 students, or 300 people, blah, 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 blah. Do you get it? Okay, so I can see numbers here. Now, did you do it? Now, before I ask you to share to the class, I want you, the whole group, to share. Okay? I give you 2 minutes to share your answers first. Okay, so you may start now, 2 minutes. Please use the sentence patterns here. Share your answers first.
think that these receivers are going file กันอยู่ได้
Okay, time's up. Now, the next part is, I want you to scan this QR code. I want you to put your answers. Okay, can you go to the link? Oh, wait. Okay, so what I want you to do is, I want you to put on the Padlet. You have to wait a little while. Okay, so I want you to talk about that. People's have pet. People helps people make friends. Pets help people make friends. Pet owners are more likely to have good moods. So you have to use the statistics and story, okay, to share. I think you cannot use WeChat to. Is it? Yeah. I'm adjusting the setting. Can you try it now? Okay now? Yes. Here. Now group 1, you add a button here. Group 2 here. 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Do you need me to share the QR code again? Okay, please use this. Now you can start typing. Yes. Yes. So I want student T and E, you write one part, and student A and M, you write one part. You can co-construct that part together. So in each group, there should be two parts. One is statistics, one is personal experience. Make sure that you use the phrases.
Yeah, I can use it now. When I log in.
So you can upload it when you're finished. Most of the group has finished. Group 6, right? Are you typing? Group 5. Are you typing? Oh, no. No. The story. Okay, he's typing the story, right? Good. Upload that, right? Oh, good. Okay, now, while we are waiting for group 6, let me tell you what to do first because you need to walk a little bit. Now, there are two types of supporting detail with the language expressions, and you have to check it. Now, for example, I give you this one as an example. People who have pets tend to go to the doctor less often, right? There are two types of supporting detail. Then what do you need to do is tell one thing that the group did well. You will go to another group, okay? So we like that the group can use both types of supporting details. Of course, you can say a little bit more why you like that, or you can think about whether their supporting details are good enough, okay? Second, ask one question about their work. Do you think you must be happy when you have a pet? Because they said that when you are happy, then you will see doctor less often, right? So you can think about that. Do you agree? Maybe it's not the case. Then you can give one suggestions. We suggest they can change to exercise more when they have a pet because they hang out with their friends, right? So this is a framework for you to give comments. TAG, okay, tag. Tell one thing that the group did well, ask one question about their work, and give one or two suggestions. Do you get it? Okay, then how do you do it? Let me tell you what to do first. T and M, you have to stand up. You go to the next group and present to them. Okay, you present to them what you are saying in the Padlet. Okay, and you have to listen to the questions they ask. Student A, give comments using TAG, the tag thing. Okay, verbally, you talk to the whole group. I mean, not the whole group. Talk to, T and M. And then student E, you type the comments on the Padlets. Do you see what I mean? So everyone should be very busy. Do you get it? Do you understand? Now, who stand up to go to another group? T and M, you stand up first, T and M. Now, group 1 to 2. No, maybe make it easier because you swap here, you swap here, you swap here, okay? Okay, get it? Okay, so student T and M, you talk about your own thing. So the ones who sit down, you listen and then give feedback and type feedback. Do you get it? Okay, E, you type feedback. A, you verbally give the feedback. Okay, now please go to another group. Student T and M, you change your position. You two go to this group, you two come to this group. Okay? Okay, so you two stand up, you two stand up. You go to this group, you go to this group. I show you, yes, you have this. When you give comments, remember to use the tag framework. 2 minutes. Okay, T, and then you present what you are saying on the panels.
When I was walking my dog, and my dog always wanted to play with other dogs. So me and the other dog owners, we have to wait for them and start a short conversation. Even I don't want to talk. Just like parents waiting by the grass. So pets give you the chance to make new friends. Yeah. Make you stop to talk to me. Yeah. I also have that. Under this situation, I must talk with someone, even at my
Okay, so student T, and then can you go back to your original seats first? Let me give you some feedback, or let me ask you like what you did. Which group do you want me to give feedback? I have no time to talk about the 6 groups. 5. Okay, let's go to group 5 here. Group 5. Here, now, let's read from. Studies found that 85% of the pet owners are more likely to have good and stable mood. Which type of supporting details are they using? Statistics. Because they tolerate the damage from pets daily due to their damaged behaviors at home. They tolerate the damage from pets daily due to their damaged behaviors at home. So they have good and stable moods. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Do you agree? So, what does that mean? That means every day you suffer. So you have good moods then. Do you agree?
No.
You disagree? Who agree? Who agree? Everyone show me your fingers. 1, that means you agree with this statement. 2, you disagree. Everyone show me. I need everybody to give me your voice. 1 agree, 2 disagree. Oh, everyone disagree except you. Okay, so here, why do you disagree?
I would say we can provide some training for pets and tell them how to manage their daily routine, like go to toilet and eat some food.
So you may add something like, okay, they can have some training. But how does it relate to good and stable moods? And, oh, you want to explain? Oh, good.
Exactly that we really have many bad things on our daily, but when you are totally tired and then enter your home and find your home was stalked by the bats or maybe a dog, and then I means that you suffer a big damage at home. Therefore, you will think, oh, the damage I get might be from my academic learning or working. It is just a piece of cake.
Okay, so because every day when you go home and you open the doors, oh my goodness, my home is totally torn now. Things outside are much easier. So I should have good wood outside. Do you agree? Now, whether you agree or disagree is not the most important. The most important is when you express your opinion. You are helping your friends to enrich the content. Now, just now when she said something, she can actually add on to this, right? And make it longer and make it persuasive. Do you see what I mean? So you can add on here based on what she said. You can have training. So maybe they are better at home, right? But you can disagree. When you go home, when you open the door, everything is just damaged. So everything outside is good enough, right? So you don't like to stay home. You see? What about next? Oh, can you choose another group first? Now you can add on here. What about another group? Which group do you want me to comment on? 3. Okay, group 3. Let's talk about the personal story first. Oh, here. Is it here? Oh, no, here. In my own experience, pets can enhance communication with others. Last month, I have met some stranger who have pets. We could share the pictures and interesting stories of our own pets with each other. We had a lot of words to say. Eventually, we became friends together. So you're making friends with a stranger. Okay, so group 3. Do you have anything to add on first of all? Before I ask questions to them. No, okay, so let's start with group 1. Can you think of one thing that they did well? They did well. Or think about one question you want to ask. Or one suggestion you want to give.
So I really want to ask, do you really make friends with that strangers? So I don't believe it at all.
Okay, you don't believe that you make friends with a stranger. When you hang out with your pets, and then you see another pet owner, you make friends. You don't believe that. But what makes you say that they can make friends?
Actually, when we hang out with our pets, we actually made friends with the strangers because the strangers are interested in our pets and we have a lot of experience and story to say about the pets. So we did make a friend with them.
So it's not just sharing pictures, you're sharing your experience of keeping a pet. And you have something to say, right?
Maybe when we do the dog walking or cat walking, the cat or dog, they make friends first, and then we make friends with their pet owners.
Okay, yes. Sometimes it's not the pet owner to make friends first. The pets will make friends with each other. And then because they play with each other. And then you will play, you will share with each other. Oh, so something missing. If you want people to be, are you convinced now? Now, it makes sense. What does that mean? That means you have to add a little bit more details because we don't know what you are thinking about, right? So that's why through questioning or through commenting, we can understand what you are thinking a little bit more. What does that mean? So when you share, the figures, you use the phrases. I can see that each group used the phrases very well. But then, if you just keep writing one sentence without a lot of elaboration, we will not be convinced. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. Okay, that's why when you write a 200-word essay or letter, you have to write a little bit longer. I know that today we don't have enough time to write a lot, but then you can challenge yourself. If I write this, do people understand? That means apart from this sentence, you may need 2 to 3 more sentences to explain what you are saying. And then this is writing. Okay? Now let's go back to the PowerPoint. I don't have time here. We finished identifying the 2 types of supporting detail. And then you use the supporting details to express your opinions. But remember, elaboration is more important. Elaboration and elaboration. one elaboration is not good enough. Now, the last part, I want you to think about that, to evaluate the process, the learning process. I want you to use the thinking routine. I used to think, now I think. I used to think, for example, you capture one moment in the lesson. I used to think, maybe for example, I used to think when I share my personal experience, I have to use the present tense. But now I think when I tell a story, I have to use the past tense. Okay, now this is just an example. I want you to think from the bigger picture, the supporting details. What is something new to you today as a Form 1 student? Okay, I know that you know everything, but you are a Form 1 student now. Okay? I just give you 30 seconds to share. So 2 people share together as a wrap up. Okay? And then I will ask one person to stand up and tell the whole class what you learned. Okay, so T and E one pair, A and N one pair. Start with, I used to think blah 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 blah. Now I think blah 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 blah. You have to keep talking for 30 seconds. Okay, after 30 seconds, another person starts. Okay, you may start now.
It's not popular in the but now I think stories can communicate otherwise to kids. For example, especially numbers. Stories will also become using and help others
my opinion, I used to think time maybe I used to think keep a tight people lots of them. Also time and money and other efforts. Now I think
Okay, now I saw Mr. Wong. Yes, thank you. Okay, so I want you to do the wrap up. You think I used to think, now I think.
Yeah, for me, I used to think writing a general story that is okay, but now I think I should like writing more. I mean, advanced. No. I should write more details to convince the others and to show, like, to support my ideas.
Okay, so the personal story is not enough. You have to write about more details about your personal experience. I want one more person, maybe Gigi.
I used to say the general picture of a story is enough, but now I think details is better, and maybe add more statistics and some other convincing stories is good enough.
Convincing story. Now, my last question. Can we use both together? Yes, you can. Okay, you can. So that's the end of this lesson. Thank you. And now, I would like to invite Mr. Mo to talk about, to explain the lesson. Okay, because we have a lot of department things, school-based things inside our self-regulated learning here.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a big hand to Mr. Wong again. Very entertaining and inspirational lesson. So today I'm going to share about some of our department policies in engaging students and teachers in order to establish a competence in English language learning and teaching. So first of all, okay, I will share about my goals today. So I make good use of PIE, PI. So first of all, I will share about how we plan our curriculum based on some rationales and the steps of implementing a curriculum reform. And then for implementation, I will show you how curriculum reform is implemented in our school, especially in the English lessons in our school. And last but not least, I will also evaluate the effectiveness of the lessons with you guys together. So, these are the challenges faced by us. Okay, so we have concluded mainly 3 types of challenges faced by Hong Kong teachers. So first of all, we may face students' low motivation in learning English. Okay, because English is not their mother language. So in most of the time, they may feel very kind of bored and less motivated in the English lesson. And however, despite their low motivation, their parents still demand a lot from us. They want us to help them equip their English proficiency and something like that. And apart from being an English teacher, we have a lot of duties. Take myself as an example. I'm also one of the basketball coaches in my school. So apart from teaching English, we have to deal with a lot of duties. So these are the challenges that we may have to face. And apart from the challenges, we aspire to make a change in our school. So these are the 4 steps of making a change in our school. So first of all, we want to foster a culture of collaborative professionalism. We want to work together, not only receiving the orders from the middle level of our school, but we want to work together. And then we would also like to reflect on our belief. Okay, from time to time we have a meeting, and in order to have a common belief, and then we will refine our curriculum together. Okay, all the members of our department will refine the curriculum together in order to develop a lesson framework, so that every student can have a structured English lesson, no matter which teacher is teaching them. So these are the contents that I'm going to share today. First of all, I will talk about our belief. So this is our department's belief. First of all, we want to engage every teacher in our shared belief. Okay, so we have some common belief in our department. And this is the background of our school. We have 30 classes. Okay, 5 classes for each form. There are 6 forms in a class. And then around 15% of the students are cross-border students. So they have to travel across the border every single day. And then most of our students come from a low to mid socio-economic family background. So they are not very privileged in terms of their socio-family background. And then this is our school belief. We believe that every child has dignity. Okay, so we cannot humiliate or insult our students, no matter what they have done. We have to be inviting. Okay, we want to invite them to become a better person or become a better student. And then we believe that every child is able to learn. So every student, no matter what background he or she comes from, or his or her learning ability, we believe that we can teach them and they can learn successfully. And then we believe that every child is able to succeed. So we believe that our child, when they graduate from our school, if we can help them find a correct platform, every student can shine after studying in our school. And this is our team's belief, and actually our school's belief. We believe that no one is perfect, but our team can be. Okay? With our efforts together, we can achieve more. So this is our L&T belief. We value engagement a lot. Okay? We believe that engagement is obviously correlated to students' academic achievement. If we can help our students engage, they will do better in their study, not only in English, but in different subjects. So the engagement includes different things. So first of all, their motivation in learning English, okay, whether they are active in the class or whether they are willing to finish their preparation. And then we also focus on their needs. Okay, we want to cater for the learners' diversity. And we want them to succeed in the learning process as well. So we want to create a sense of achievement, okay, a sense of accomplishment in the lesson, so that students will be more engaged in the English lesson. So based on our shared belief, every teacher knows that, and our students knows that, because when they, every day when they come back to our school, they can see our school belief in front of the school gates. Okay, so we also hope that we can engage our students in day-to-day lessons. So I'm going to share about our curriculum development review. So there are 3 major principles, and the first one is learner-centered curriculum, and then we believe that reading is essential in engaging our students in their language development, and also we want to boost their confidence in their English learning. So this is the learner-centered curriculum in our school. So in every module, that means in every unit, we'll adopt a theme-based approach. So first of all, we'll always start with the vocabulary section because we believe that if the students do not have enough inputs, okay, they cannot like produce what we want them to produce. So first of all, we will help them acquire vocabulary based on some vocabulary learning strategies in different contexts. So just like Mr. Wong's lesson, we will set a situation for them first in the vocabulary lesson so that they can learn more easily. And then after the vocabulary building, we will move on to the reading part. Okay? So in every module, we will focus on one particular genre. Okay, for example, just like last lesson, we focused on informal letter. Okay, writing an informal letter. And then after the reading section, we'll move on to grammar. Okay? We believe that text grammar is very important. Okay? If we want students to learn grammar items successfully, we have to like give them a particular text to read first. Okay, otherwise it's very hard for them to acquire the language, the grammar item. And then after grammar, we'll move on to listening. Okay, because listening is also one of the most important papers in Hong Kong's context. And then at the end, we will ask them to like do some output, and they are speaking and writing. Because we want them to recycle all the things they have learned throughout the whole chapter. So by doing speaking and writing, they can like really use them in front of us. And then we can evaluate their performance at the end. So this is a spiral scaffolding in our school. And then in every unit, in every section, we will provide an ASK lesson objectives, which is a three-dimensional objectives. And it includes attitude, skill, and knowledge. Okay? So just like last lesson, okay, we learned about supporting details, and this is the knowledge part of our lesson. And then for the skill, okay, students will be able to utilize the supporting details they have just learned, and then they can make good use of it to write their own sentences. And then for the attitude part, apart from like learning English, we also want to help our students by instilling some positive values and attitudes in the lesson. So by the end of the lesson, we hope that not only can our students learn English, but they can also learn how to become a better person. So this is the LG that you have received, I think, a few days ago. And then in our learning guide, okay, it includes different things. So first of all, it includes preparation tasks. So students can do it before the lesson. And then we also designed some collaborative tasks, just like what you have done in the lesson, okay? Just like the Padlet. But in our classroom, in our school, we will ask students to write on the blackboard, and also a small blackboard. And then afterwards, they will do reflection tasks, just like I used to think, and now I think, thinking routine parts in the lesson, okay? And we will also give them some extended learning materials after the lesson, in order to consolidate what they have learned in the class. And we believe that good start requires a very clear goal setting. So in each term, we teach students how to learn English, and we also help them set goals in the beginning of a term. And then after their examination and parents' day, they will evaluate their performance, and with the worksheets designed by us. And after talking about our learner-centered curriculum, I will move on to talk about reading as the cornerstone. Okay, our school believes that reading is very important. So in our timetable, every morning we will have 30 minutes of power time. And POWER is actually an acronym for positive outcomes while enjoying reading. So we believe that if students can have a time to read, we can help them improve their language proficiency. So they will take turn to read Chinese books and English books. Okay? So for example, in odd week, they may read Chinese book. And then in even week, they will read English books. Okay? And then, apart from the power time, okay, every Thursday and Friday, we will have an editorial reading aloud program, which is led by our NET teachers. So basically, our NET teachers will choose a piece of article every single week. And then it's about history or news or science. And then the NET teachers will lead the whole school to read through the PA system. Okay. And then all the students in our school will stand up and read aloud the article with the NET teachers. And then their class teachers will also lead them to read the article. Okay, so every week they'll have this kind of practice. So apart from the reading part, we believe that their confidence, students' confidence is also very important in the acquisition of English. So our school has additional nets. So in Hong Kong, like in Hong Kong schools, most of the schools may have 1 to 2 nets, but our school actually has 5. Okay, we have 5 nets, 1 EDB net and 4 part-time nets. And by having a lot of net teachers, we can organize different speaking practices or discussion groups with our students. And just like starting from today, like the net teachers will be helping the Form 6 students to prepare for their DSE speaking exam. And then for activities, we have held different activities both inside and outside classrooms. So for inside classroom, during the English lesson, students may be able to present and do pair work or even like do the peer work with their classmates. And outside their classroom, we help students enroll in different competitions like speaking and writing competitions or speech festival competition. And we also organize some overseas exchange program for our students in order to boost their confidence in using English. So inside classroom, okay, just now I mentioned that we have an editorial reading aloud program every Thursday and Friday, and then they will do their presentation during the lesson in using English. And they will also do their pair and group sharing. And in our school, okay, in English lesson, we require students to speak in English at all times, okay, no matter what, okay? And then outside classroom, students may join different competitions like storytelling competition, public speaking competition, or even some overseas study tours in order to have more chance to speak English in an authentic environment. And then this is our SRL part. So we hope that we can engage our student in a 5-stage English lesson. And these 5 stages include preparation. So before we have our English lesson, we will require our students to do their preparation first. And then we will go through the lesson objectives with them. We will ask them to read aloud the lesson objectives. And then we will allow them to co-construct knowledge together by doing some collaborative tasks. And at the end, we will evaluate their performance. Okay, we will ask their peers to comment on their work, and teachers will also comment on their work. And then at the end of the lesson, we'll ask them to do the reduction. So these 4 are the learning tasks that we set for students. So first of all, students may do their self-learning at home. Like they will organize their previous learning and prepare for the lesson. And then during the lesson, they will do some within group co-learning. Like just now, you have shared your answers within your group, right? So these are the collaborative tasks we can do. And then afterwards, we can ask students to do some between group mutual learning, okay? Just like we can ask students to move to the other groups in order to absorb more ideas from their peers. And at the end, we will also provide some teacher-guided learning, okay? Because we cannot really let students to comment on everything, okay? We have to make good use of expertise, okay? We have to set the scene for our students and then give some professional comments to our students as well. So this is our lesson framework. So at the beginning of every English lesson, we'll ask them to do some reading aloud or a 1-minute talk first, okay, in order to help our students engage in our lesson. And then we will let them share their preparation, okay, by giving them a few minutes to share what they have prepared yesterday. And then after we have checked the answers with them, we will do a mid-lesson check, okay, to ensure that all students are on the right track in our lesson. And then later, we will provide some collaborative tasks for our students so that they can work together and make good use of what they have learned that day and show us. And they will display what they have learned, okay, by writing on the Padlet or the blackboard in the classroom. And at the end, they will give feedback to each other, and we will also evaluate their performance. So I will share about our sustained growth phase in our school. So we have extended our SRM mode into SRM Pro. So not only do we want to engage our students, but we also want to empower our students and also teachers as well. So in the past decade, we have visited or we have done different things in order to extend the scope of our SRL. So first of all, we have been visited by international educators throughout the past decade. So different scholars and educators would visit our school to do some professional exchange. And then we have also joined some overseas learning trips. For example, we have been to the US, okay, like the Harvard University for Project Zero. Like we learned how to make good use of thinking routines, and also we have got support from the Stanford University in order to know how to use top moves. Like just now in Mr. Wong's lesson, he kept asking a lot of questions, right? Like when students' response are very short, okay, teachers can utilize top moves in order to help students to say more in the lesson. And we have also joined some professional development courses. So by doing all these, we want to extend our scope of SRL by providing a deep learning not only to the students, but to the teachers as well, okay? And so we want to engage our students to think, okay? And we also want to make their thinking visible. We want to know what they are thinking. And at the end, we want to like help students to have a deeper learning in the lesson. And we have joined Project Zero organized by Harvard University. So in Project Zero, we have learned about teaching for understanding, okay? And we know that we have learned that in an English lesson, we have to offer a generative topic for our students. Just like last lesson, Mr. Wong has like designed a situation for us, okay? We are going to write a letter to our friend, okay, by asking him or her like to keep a pet, something like that, okay? We want to have a topic which is related to our students so that we can engage our students more easily. And then we need our students to understand the learning goals, okay? So at the beginning of every lesson, we will ask our students to read aloud the lesson objectives. We believe that if students do not understand what they need to learn, okay, they cannot be very engaged. And then during the lesson, we have a performance of understanding, like we have mid-lesson check, okay? We want to let ourselves know whether students can follow. And we also ask our students to show their finger, okay, to let us know like how much they have learned. And then for ongoing assessments, at the end of the lesson, we will set up some benchmark tests, maybe in their LG or online, something like that. And then we will ask them to answer some questions, and we can check their understanding. And we also learned how to use thinking routines to help students organize their thinking. Okay, just like the last lesson for the 1 minute talk, we used agree and disagree, okay, to help students generate more ideas. And we as teachers, we can also like visualize their students' thinking. And for top moves, okay, we are very lucky and very honored that we receive support from the Stanford University, and we can use top moves to help students expand their ideas, okay? And we also help students to clarify their meaning during the lesson. And we have also taken part in different video-based programs in order to like analyze our teaching, okay? So we will videotape our lesson, and we will work with different scholars. For example, like at U Hong Kong, the University of Hong Kong, and the professors in there will help us analyze our lessons and give us some valuable feedback. So just now I've gone through the lesson framework in our school. So I'm going to share about how we make the thinking visible in our lesson. So in Mr. Wong's lesson, first of all, he showed you guys the lesson objectives. Okay, so you can understand the learning goals of today, okay, which is learning the supporting details and how to write an informal letter. And then afterwards, we use a 1 minute talk to engage our students. And Mr. Wong has used the thinking routine agree or disagree, okay, by asking our students to think of the ideas from different perspectives. So first of all, individual perspective, and then family and friends, and then later on, like globally, something like that. And the students can expand their ideas. And this is actually a top move for students. So when after students have listened to their peers, they can make good use of the language support to comment on their friends' work, okay, and try to challenge their ideas. And then after the 1-minute talk, is the sharing of preparation. So students will know that their preparation is important because they have to share their answers during the lesson. Then, before the lesson, they will do it more seriously because they know that we value their preparation awards. And this is an ongoing assessment. So during the lesson, at the middle part of the lesson, we have used a mid-lesson check in order to give students a chance to share what they have learned with their peer. Okay, this is actually based on the contents of this lesson. So we ask students to talk about the claim and also to identify the type of supporting details during the lesson. And we ask students to display their learning by writing their ideas online. So we make good use of the online platform Padlet today. So we divide our students into different groups and they are responsible for different parts of ideas. And each of them will be responsible for maybe like 1 to 2 parts only because of the time constraints. And then after they have displayed their learning, we will do some peer commenting. Okay? So, like in our experience, if we do not give students like a way to comment on their friends' ideas, in most of the time, they may comment on their friends like their handwriting. Okay, like, oh, your words are very beautiful, or your handwriting is very ugly, something like that. They cannot focus on the lesson objectives. So we have decided to use the thinking routine. Like this is actually called appreciate, wonder, and suggest. So first of all, like we want our students to be positive. We will ask our students to like appreciate their friends first. Okay, talk about what you like about your friend's work. And then we will ask our students to ask questions. Okay, is there anything you don't know? Is there anything that you want your classmates to clarify? And then later on, we'll ask them to give their friends some suggestions. For example, how they can do better. Okay, is there anything that you want to tell them? Something like that. And then at the end of the lesson, we will do a summary with our students by using another thinking routine. I used to think and now I think. We can help students consolidate what they have learned by thinking about, like, in the past, how they thought about like supporting details or packs or writing an informal letter, and then after the lesson, what they have gained from our lesson. So we can help our students reflect on the like knowledge and skills that they have learned. And more importantly, we hope that we can, at the end of this part, we can help our students like gain some new insights based on their attitude. So we want to focus on all these because we want to make our students' thinking visible. We want to know what they are thinking. So we believe that, like at the very beginning, I mentioned that in our school, we believe that no one is perfect, but a team can be. So we really believe that teamwork makes the dream work. So by working together as a team, we can help our students to improve in a more effective and efficient way. So thank you very much.
Maybe let me explain a little bit more before you can ask questions. Just now, actually, one way that you feel self-regulated learning maybe, throughout the process, do you find that I would keep asking questions to check your understanding? And I also use the fist to board. You have to show me your fingers to point out how much you understand. It's actually not just for me, but for you as well. Okay, because if you don't understand, I can come and help you, or your peers can help you, right? And self-regulated learning is not to do with self-learning. Okay, so don't, because some people have some misunderstanding that, or even our students have some misunderstanding that, when you have self-regulated learning, it means that you don't have to learn from teachers. I just learn everything by myself. Okay, but as a Form 1 student, you need a lot of support in order to get them to go through everything, and then at the end they can do some self-learning in university. So when you talk about self-regulated learning or self-directed learning, to me, self-directed learning is more adult-like you guys, right? You can direct your learning. But then in secondary schools, especially junior forms, they need a lot of guidance and support so that, they can do that at the end. Throughout the process, maybe you're regulating your learning. think about that. In the very beginning, when you check your preparation, and then when I ask you questions, you get some you may have better understanding, right? There's one kind of regulation. When you do the Padlet's work together, you talk to your peers, right? You went to another group, and then you shared with the comments with your friends. And then after that, maybe you got some feedback from your friends, and then you can improve your work. That is another regulation, right? And at the end, when you wrap up using the thinking routines, I used to think, now I think, you can evaluate your learning process. And then you can, have some regulation again. So actually, throughout the process, you have a lot of regulation. And to do all this, of course, you're adults, and you're English major. You can do it at once. But think about the students in Form 1, can they do that? No, they cannot do it without the help of teachers. So you have to develop their habits. Habits are very, very important. Just now, this is a lesson that I did in January usually. From September to December, you need a lot of training to learn. Okay, think about that. For example, how can they share? Just now, Parker shared that our students are they are very well behaved. We don't come across any disciplinary problems in our class. Of course, it's because of the framework or because of our training. But then they need a lot of language support in order to share their answers because they lack the language. And then, like just now the preparation parts. Maybe in the very beginning, I have to use one lesson to just check the preparation, and then another lesson to write the Padlet thing, because they were very, very slow. But then after they get used to this kind of mode, they can do much faster. So our Form 1 students can do it like this. Maybe the observers may feel that, okay, it's very, very fast. The pace is very fast. But then when the students are very used to that, they can do it very quickly. But when the pace is fast, you still have to give them a moment to think, to evaluate whether they understand or not, or to ask questions to their peers or even to the teachers. Okay, so that is the whole process of how we do self-regulated learning. And then in Form 1, they are not as motivated as you when they learn English. How can we engage them or increase their motivation? You need some extrinsic motivation. So we have award scheme. So every term, we will award the students who did well in all subjects. We'll give them a prize and certificate so that they feel honored and they will do better. And we will also present their learning attitudes. We will give them a grade in each subject to show how engaged they are in the lessons. Okay, so that is another way to motivate them. But when they start learning, English, your charisma is also very important, right? Think about that. If I always show my long face, if I'm very straight, will students answer my questions? They will feel very insecure, right? They will be afraid of making mistakes. So our criteria for employing English teachers is you have to look happy. Really, you have to look cheerful. And you have to be very dramatic, right? So this is the quality of being an English teacher, because this is not their mother tongue. This is not just a foreign language, but this is a language from another planet, right? So your gesture, your way of communication is also important in order to engage them. And then they will be more active and more motivated. So this is how the things go behind the lesson. Everything is planned, and of course you need some dynamics there, and that's why sometimes I will ask some questions and put them on the board, and then I will keep asking why and why and why. I have to think fast as well. right? Because their ideas can be very, very interesting. I have generation gap with them, right? Sometimes I don't know, I don't understand what they are talking about, and they teach me. And then I also have to think and respond to them and turn them into learning, right? So this is called construction of knowledge. I never believe that I can teach everything, but they can help me, and then we can learn with each other. So this is how we go for the lesson. So is it Q&A now? Yes, questions?
I just want to know whether students can use Padlet in the classroom.
Yes, they can use Padlets. And why not? No, we can get the iPad. Okay, we can give them iPads. I think this is very common in Hong Kong. Yeah, very, very common in Hong Kong. But another way we can show them a picture of using the iPod. Apart from Padlets, very interesting. I share a story to you. 2 years ago, I went to MIT and Harvard to attend some lectures. I found that in these two very prestigious universities, no technology can be used in the lesson. Why? Because they want the students to be cognitively engaged, right? If you have some distraction like mobile phones and iPad, no, you cannot think. They need a lot of thinking. So we have a lot of handout. You can download from Moodle maybe, right? No, we have to print it and take it to USA and then read the paper like paper. It's terrible, right? So in order to engage your students, we don't use Padlets a lot because when you have adults, you can talk. If the students keep using the Padlets, they will type their own things and do not talk, right? That's why we use this iBoard. We call them iBoard, idea board, so that they can really talk and write and then present and make the whole classroom as an environment to make thinking visible.
Okay.
Just like Mr. Walker mentioned, what is NET? Is that a program or something?
NET is the native English teachers. It's a scheme. The foreign teachers.
Funded by the Hong Kong government.
Yeah, funded by the Hong Kong government. Each school is given one.
I want to ask, like in your lesson, we do many teamworks. So in the future, when we do teacher in our classroom, how can we organize the students? Like many students are high achievement and someone is low achiever. Because our team are randomly organized.
Yes.
How can you like organize this?
There is a secret behind things. All student T are more capable students. Okay, all student T, they are the leaders. They are the capable students. They sit next to the student E. Student E is less able. Okay, student A and M are average students, and the seating is like this. Okay, so this is the blackboard. Student E, student T, right? Student E is always facing the blackboard because we are worried that they are distracted. Okay, student A and M. Okay, so student E is supported by student T and student A as well. Okay, so that is the secret. So when you have some kind of group, because do you remember that we have the belief that every child has dignity. We don't stream the students into different classes, so we don't have a top set or the best class. We told all the students you are all the best. Okay, and so we have the mixed ability group here. We believe that always when there are two people or two students, there is always diversity. One is always better than the other. They are not the same, right? So, to start your group work, maybe you can think about that in this way. The second thing is when you start doing group work, especially, I'm not sure whether you have practicum or when you go to your teaching, don't start doing a lot of group work in the very beginning. Just one task with one group work in the very beginning and gradually train them. Sometimes, if you find that they are not very good at doing the task, do it again. For example, just now I gave you 2 minutes to share in your group. If I find that, okay, the whole class is not okay, or they don't know what I'm talking about, or they don't perform as well as I think, then I stop, everyone sit down, I show them again how to do it with a lot of demonstration, and you redo the task again to develop their habits or develop the way that you want as, you know, in the group work. And some teachers are very worried that when I have group work, there will be classroom management problems. Yes, you can be very strict, right? And then you can scold them, and then everyone will be very worried. But then this is not the way to learn English, at least in my philosophy. Okay? What can you do? Keep everyone busy.
Right.
I think the best way to manage your class is think about the lesson design. If you have very good lesson design to keep them very busy, they have no way out, right? They will be engaged in your work, and then you don't have to manage them a lot, right? So this is something that you can think about. So I always say that not 100% of the students are always well behaved in any classes, but they can perform very well in your class because of the lesson design. Okay, so before you go into the classroom, think about what you are going to teach and how you teach, and no gap time. Of course, you can have some thinking time. Tell them in this 15 seconds, you're all quiet. Okay? And then there are some ways, you know, to train them to listen to the others. And you are actually managing them. For example, when I ask this group, I ask one person the comment. Next, I will ask you whether you agree or disagree. If you cannot listen, how can you blow smoke? Right? How can you elaborate? So this is actually one way to control or to manage the class.
In this, we call it casual checking. You know, you always check, make sure everybody's on task because you check their understanding anytime.
Yes.
And besides this, I think I would also like you to think about what are other strategies that can make sure that all the group members are on task. For example, preparation time. Right? The student have to do the preparation one day before. Right? And also make sure when you have group work or pair work before the big group work, right? So how can you prepare everybody in these pairs so that they can really focus on the task, for example, the language support, the timing, isn't it? And also the expected outcome you check afterwards. Yeah, all different kinds of strategies are very important as well to keep them focusing on the learning.
If the task is too long, for example, you have to spend 10 minutes, break it into 2 parts, no more than 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, get everyone to come back, okay, to get them, like, to wrap up a little bit first before you move on. Then that is one way to avoid any distraction. Some students will become free riders, right?
And I really admire the way that they actually not just like, for example, what's the purpose of using group work? To enhance students' learning, right? Better than individual learning. How? Because they have to think independently. They also have to share their ideas with each other. They also have to reflect and cross-check, and then also, give suggestions, ask questions, and reflect on their learning. So all different kinds of things are enhancing students' thinking, not just completing the task. That's more important. What is the focus of learning? Think about that every little step. What is the focus of learning within that 2 minutes? Yeah.
Yes.
And any more questions?
What about the observer? Yes, thank you.
It's okay. I just wonder, because this lesson is very well organized and it must require a lot of effort. And I think it's only one teacher are in charge in one part of the lesson, or the teacher in the teamwork, they work together to design the whole framework.
Usually this question is asked by in-service teachers. They're more practical about, the workload, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on the culture of the school. In our school, we shared all the teaching resources together. So if I prepare this lesson, the other 4 teachers in the form do not have to. They just follow my PowerPoint. Right? We divide the work together. So think about if I have 10 lessons in that unit for 1 month, then every teacher has to prepare 2 sections. It's a way easier, right? And because I'm quite experienced. No, I'm very this is my 19th years of teaching. And doing this kind of work can be very fast to me. For this lesson, like 45 minutes, I can prepare everything. And I have ChatGPT. all the samples, for example, all the paragraphs were written by ChatGPT, not by me. Like page 4. Can you see the bird? Can you see that paragraph? It was written by ChatGPT. I don't have to spend time writing. Right? Oh, questions? Thank you.
I have a question. Just now you want us to show our opinion on the palette. And I thinking the process may be a little bit difficult for me. Most of the time, how can you catch the hint to question the idea and inspire them to get more collaboration? It's quite difficult in a quick way.
Yes.
How can you do?
How can you do that? Actually, there are 2 ways. The first way is when you are typing, when you finish typing, some of the groups are still discussing, right? You immediately look at everyone. And then in the classroom, because they are writing on the little blackboard, right? When they are writing, I keep going to different groups and see, and then check. That is the first way. The second way is when you are typing, when you are exchanging with other groups, like you are going to another group to present, I actually find which group is the best for me to give comments on. Okay? But because, I'm very familiar, I'm quite familiar with the curriculum or what I want to teach. So I just asked you which group you want me to comment on. I quickly went through everything. Okay? And then give the comments. But I have something behind. I know that when I write this, my students can notes, give very detailed elaboration based on my teaching experience. So this is my focus. I will look at whether they give enough, elaboration. So I keep questioning. And then from the questions, I can conclude that, your elaboration is not good enough. So this is something I have inside my mind before I actually do it, right? But this is based on my experience. And because, I understand the students in my school very well. Every year I tell them, what happened? Before you do the task, I know the mistakes. I know what mistakes you will make. And really, they make these mistakes and be like, wow, you are the God. How come you know everything? Yeah, because this is a common mistake.
Experience, right?
Yeah, experience helps.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes, and remember, I practice this every day. Teaching needs a lot of practice. If you practice every day, you can do it very fluently, right?
Yeah, and even I appreciate when you check group 3, right? Because a student, and then you can ask questions.
Yes.
Whether you agree or not, you can also buy time to think about how you're going to respond.
Yes, when I'm asking you a question, I'm buying time. Right? And also, do you remember I show you 1 and 2? I use fingers. Actually, I want everyone to be engaged. No one can escape. If I just ask you, okay, do you agree? If you agree, just put up your hand. Then you can choose not to put up your hand, even if you agree. But if I show fingers, now this is a way of classroom management. And I'm also buying time when I'm seeing, I'm actually thinking. Okay? Okay, questions?
Just you mentioned the one five-stage lesson, right? So first is a preparation. So I want to know more information about preparation. That means before the lesson, will you assign some worksheet for guidance to the student to learn what he is going to learn, or it is aims to solve some like the critical feature for this lesson or something else. And the third is when they finish the preparation, it comes to the class. So did you spend a little time to check their preparation result or something? Okay.
Okay, so the preparation is like this. This is learning guide. And actually, we borrowed the idea when we visited the schools in Guangzhou, in Shandong. So learning guide in Chinese is 导学案. Yes, I think you know that, right? 导学案, right? And so the preparation is inside the learning guide. So every time, because we have prepared all the learning guides for, for all units in all forms. So when we teach, we just get the students to answer, to prepare to answer the questions inside. That is the preparation. But of course, this is not just to answer questions. For example, if you go to page 4, you can see that I give them some input types of supporting details, right? I give them some support here. It's not from the textbook. Why? Because I found that when I want to teach how students persuade another person, the critical feature is they need supporting details, right? Then I try to find out the 2 types of supporting details online, ChatGPT, right? And of course, based on the curriculum. And I found that this is the most important thing that I want to teach, okay? And then I try to put inside so that they can read by themselves. And I have to design some questions that they can understand. And when they answer the questions, they will understand what supporting details are. Because the questions themselves are actually helping them to check whether they understand what supporting details are when they do the preparation on their own, without my guidance. Okay? So basically, every day, we will get the students to do this kind of preparation work. Okay? Yes. Oh, here.
Okay, I want to know, after the class, how to make the assessment, teacher assessment, peer assessment.
Yes, because this is a writing lesson, right? So we will get students to do the writing. And then when they do the writing, we will remind them that they have to use the supporting details. Then we can check whether all the students understand supporting details. And before the writing lesson, actually we have the writing plan. Every student will complete a worksheet, which is a writing plan. And then in the writing plan, we will intentionally tell them they have to use the supporting details. By that, when they write the writing plan, we can check whether they understand supporting details or not. And then when they do the writing, of course, we will check their understanding. Okay, so this is how we assess the students. And also, sometimes we will ask them to exchange their writing with their peers to help them check whether they have the supporting detail. Right? So this is the way. But of course now, do you know that in Hong Kong, a lot of schools, including my school, are using AI to do the marking of writing, because marking of writing is just terrible. I'm sure that you can imagine the workload. But then, one thing that we cannot get the AI to do is, we required all the English teachers in our school to write personal feedback to students, even when they use AI to mark. I think one way that AI can do is help you detect the grammatical mistakes. But AI can also give feedback, but they are not the feedback that you want. For example, AI don't know that I want the students to use supporting details. So I have to write, some feedback on whether they can use supporting details, even when I mark this piece of writing on AI. Okay? So this is a way to assess their understanding, and students can give feedback based on what I want to teach. That's very important. Don't be replaced by AI. you have your values. You know what to teach, and the AI don't know. Even they don't understand the students, right? You have to give them comments that are comprehensible to them. They understand the comments from you, but sometimes they don't understand the comments from AI. Too advanced, right? Oh, excellent.
Mr. Marco Wong, thank you for your wonderful class. And I'd like to ask, are students in the same group every class, or they will switch the group? And how we can make the students active in the group work? Or will we give them some rewards or something else?
Or maybe ask Mr. Mo to answer these two questions. He is also an expert in this.
So in our classroom setting, so in every classroom we have 8 groups of TEAMs. So they will be seated in like throughout the whole term in every subject, and then they can work together. So they will be quite familiar with their classmates. And then during our lesson, we have different collaborative tasks, right? And in my approach, so in every lesson, I will ask them to do a 1-minute talk first. And then because of the like the constraint of this classroom, we cannot perform today. But in my class, every single term, every single unit, I will ask them to find partners, 4 different partners. Okay, we call them making an appointment strategy. So I will ask them to find their 12 o'clock partner, 3 o'clock partner, 6 o'clock partner, and 9 o'clock partner. So every one of them will have 4 different partners. They cannot find the same person. So I will give them the criteria, okay, of finding partners. So every time will be different. But for their 12 o'clock partner, I always ask them to find their best friend, no matter what. Okay? Because I want them to like start their lesson with someone they are comfortable with. So if they are asked to do the 1-minute talk with their best friend, like their 12 o'clock partner, they will be able to speak freely. They will not be scared of making mistakes. And then by every single unit, I will ask them and I will help them find their new partners, so we can help them, like we can make our lessons more refreshing to them, and they will feel less bored. Okay, but I will always ask them to start with their best friend. Okay, it's about their like emotional engagement in the lesson. Yes.
Any other questions?
So I have questions. If the students are be seated like this, in other class like the Chinese class or in the math class, do they need to change the seat?
No, they don't have to. Okay, we just, especially in junior forms, because they study the same subjects together. So they will be sitting like this here for all subjects. But we will change in each term so that they can know more about other classmates in the class. So the more able students here is usually good at more subjects. Okay, right? So that's important.
How long is each term? How many terms?
Usually we have 3 terms in a year. So from 3 terms from September to November, and then November to March, and then March to June.
So around 3 months, right?
Yeah, around 3 months.
Any other questions? I actually have a question about the role of textbook. Because I felt like that we have spent a lot of time on writing the teaching guide, a learning guide as well. And it seems it's like an adjusted version of the textbook, or is actually supporting the learning of the textbook. What is the role of the textbook in the process of learning?
The textbook is important. They serve as a base for us to develop the materials. The textbooks cannot fit all the students in Hong Kong, right? Especially if you find that if you read the textbooks carefully, you will find that the level of difficulty is getting higher in Hong Kong, because they want to cater for the elite students in Hong Kong. So how can you use the textbook better? Is to adapt the textbook. So we adapt the things here, and also you have to read across, all levels in the curriculum, so that you know what to teach. And sometimes, for example, like this, statistics and personal experience are not something in the textbook. Then I have to add on to, to make this learning guide. But things like grammar, reading, you can use the textbook a lot, right? But for writing, they have a very short question, and then ask you to write without any support. Then of course we cannot. We have to provide a lot of things here. But for grammar, we have to get students to finish the exercise there, or to read, the things there, so that they can understand the forms and functions of the grammar. Or even the reading, we have to get students to read the article in the textbook. But then, the questions themselves are very difficult. How can we develop their skills? Then we have to design the things to help them develop the skills. Because textbooks cannot do that. So we have to supplement that.
So we'll be adding a lot of thinking elements, especially
yes,
into the lesson.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
Actually, I got two. So the first one is, will you adopt more collaborative skills or competition in your class? Which one is more? And the second one is, what kind of advice will you give for in-service or pre-service teacher to become a more experienced teacher in pretty short time?
Very short time. Okay, in classroom, I would say we use more collaborative tasks because they have a lot of individual tasks before the lesson and after the lesson, right? So during the lessons, we have to make good use of the grouping. This is the good school setup. So we have to make full use of it, okay, so that, they can have more collaborative learning or peer learning. And also, especially junior forms, if you get the students to sit for 50 minutes, especially the boys, sorry gentlemen, they cannot sit quietly and be engaged in the task. So that's why, we have to make use of their mouth. Otherwise, they will talk about something that you don't want to listen, right? That is one thing that you can think about. But you have to, when you go to a school, you have to really feel the vibe and context of the school. If the school doesn't have this kind of setup, and you can do it by yourself, but it takes you a lot of time. So in the very beginning, if you find that the school doesn't have this kind of setup, maybe you have half-half, or even 70% of individual work and 30% of collaborative tasks. But if the school has this kind of setup, then you can do more. So it really depends on the training of the students and also the school context. That is the first question. The second question is, how can you get more experience? Maybe I ask a newer teacher, our deputy title head, 4th year of teaching, right?
So just now Mr. Wong said that he's in his 19th year of teaching, and I'm currently at my 4th year of teaching. And I think for pre-service teacher, I think the most important key is to get yourself prepared mentally. Okay, you have to understand, you have to expect what you need to do as an English teacher. So Mr. Wong always, he shared with me, for the teachers training program in Hong Kong, it usually requires 5 years of study. Okay, in order to get ourselves prepared that, we are going to become an English teacher very soon. So we have to understand our role. Okay, apart from marking or teaching, we have to think about what kind of lesson objectives we want to deliver in our lesson. Okay, and then for in-service teachers, I think, take myself as an example. I think we have to be willing to learn from different people. When we have free time, we have to step out of our comfort zone. For example, we can listen to different seminars, and then we try to engage ourselves in different workshops, something like that. Okay. For example, I think a few months ago we went to HKEAA, Examination and Assessment Authority seminar together. And then by looking at the statistics, okay, we can generate some new ideas in improving our learning and teaching. And then we in our school, we will have the approach of open class. So in maybe in January or in April, we will invite different colleagues among Hong Kong schools to come to our school, and then they will observe our lessons, and we will do some professional exchange. Okay, so I think by opening our classes, or not only sometimes it depends on the school's fight. We may not be able to open our class in the public, but we may invite our colleagues to observe each other's lessons, or we can observe some more experienced teachers' lessons, and then we can gain a lot of insight with each other. And then I think it helps us improve a lot.
One more thing, I think theories are very important. Really, when I was young, like you guys, when I was a university student, I didn't feel like theories were that important. I felt like if I could teach, then what's the role of theories? But now, as a vice principal or as a developer of the school, I always find theories, right? And 2 weeks ago, I shared with my colleagues about one theory and how we can put into practice. So if you want to, gain more experience, the first thing is keep learning and keep reading, and try out the things in the theory, and never afraid of making mistakes. Then you will gain more experience by reflection, by your experiments. Yeah. I think it's almost time, right?
Yeah. So let's give Mr. Wong and Mr. Wong a nice round of applause. And maybe take a group photo now. So maybe we take one from the front. Leo, please help. And then maybe